So what do you make for dinner when you don't feel like cooking? Enter the slow cooker. This is mine. She's seen better days. She's a little dirty, but I have used this slow cooker for many, many years. It still works really well. I love slow cooker food for weeknight meals, mostly because you can set it and forget it. But I also like slow cookers for parties. So I think anything that you can make in a slow cooker is good for tailgates, birthday parties, anything that you want it to be kind of a low maintenance. People can kind of grab it on their own, those types of things. We are making chicken tortilla soup. I love this recipe. I have made it many, many, many times. Let me take the lid off. So what I'm doing here is cutting up some bell peppers. You can use any kind of bell peppers that you like. I usually use red, and that's all I had today, but I'll do red and green, I'll do red and orange. It doesn't really matter, just whatever flavors you like. The red tend to be a little bit sweeter, and I think that's a nice little balance in this, because chicken tortilla soup it's savory, it's got a little bit of spice, and the thing I like, I think the most about the chicken tortilla soup is that it's fun to add a bunch of different toppings to it. Whenever I make this recipe for parties, I always do sort of like a toppings bar where I'll put out tons of different toppings so that people can choose whatever they like. And I like the toppings. About half-inch pieces. It doesn't have to be too perfect. I love a good make-ahead meal. All right, olive oil. So I'm adding in a little bit of olive oil into my slow cooker. I'm gonna add in the red bell pepper. And I'm going to dice up a red onion and add that in as well. Cut off the top. And then cut it in half. And then take the peel off. I always tend to take that outside layer off too. I'm gonna cry though too. And then add it in. Oh, be right back. I'm gonna mix that up a little bit. Top this then with the chicken. I just have 2 boneless, skinless chicken breasts that I'm putting on here. My lighting is being weird. Now for our spices. 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of oregano. Make sure you have fresh spices too. Spices are only really good for 6 months. Sometimes you can stretch it to like 8 to 10 depending on what it is, but really they're fresh for about 6 months. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. I love cumin. You know what I do with cumin? I actually put this on avocado toast with salt. It's so good. It's just like earthy and warm. It's one of my absolute favorite spices. I love cumin. Cumin, potato. Mix this up a little bit, and then I'm gonna sprinkle it on top of the chicken. We really want to flavor it. Like garlic. So for the garlic, I have in the recipe, it's 1 clove of garlic. However, these are pretty small cloves, so I'm gonna do 2 of them. And just mince it up, which just means that you chop it up as small as you can. So give it a smash, cut off the bottom. There's a fly in my house that is bugging me and I can't get it. Okay, so then just take the skin off. And I know you see people all the time smash their garlic and they smash it into like, smash, like flat. I just give it a nice little tap. Then that gets the outside off. And then, yes, your hands will smell like garlic, but you know what? You're in the kitchen. That's what happens. And then bring it together. And then I will actually kind of smash it down and then do that. And I find that that's a good way to get everything kind of cut up. And that can just go right on top of the veggies. Have a can of diced tomatoes. I like using the fire roasted because I like that little bit of heat that it adds. So add that in. Now some diced green chilies. These add a nice little kick and earthiness to it. And you don't need to drain them. Just pop them in just like so. A lot of these things are from the pantry. So this is a good one to kind of always have the ingredients on hand, so that way you can make it last minute. Can of black beans that I have drained and rinsed. And some veggie stock. You could absolutely use chicken stock for this if you wanted to as well. That would be totally fine. I always seem to have veggie stock around, and And I like veggie stock. I don't know, I like the kind of vegetal, the vegetal taste that it has, which you would hope you get with a veggie stock, but that's my favorite to use for this, but again, a chicken stock works just fine if you have it around too. I wouldn't use beef stock for this, I would use chicken or veggie. And we need some salt. I forgot to add salt. I don't know, about that much salt. Teaspoon, 1 to 2 teaspoons. I never measure salt. And then just give it a little bit of a stir. Okay, I'm gonna turn on my handy dandy slow cooker. Put it on high for 4 hours or low, and that'll take about 6 to 8 hours. And then what we do is actually take the chicken out and use 2 forks to shred it up. Then you actually put the chicken back in for about 20 to 30 minutes. And all that really does is just infuse all of the flavors into the chicken and makes everything taste so delicious. And after that, I actually add in my corn. I'll use fresh corn or frozen corn. If you use fresh, saute it a little bit first so it cooks that rawness out. But usually I just have frozen corn in my freezer and just dump it in and it'll heat up really quickly. Once that's heated up, then you can serve it. Again, this is something that can be made ahead of time and then heated up the day of, or just put this together in the morning and then you have a lovely dinner waiting for you when you walk in the door at night. Oh, it's just the best. Add whatever toppings you like. I usually do some sour cream. I love adding some lime in there, tortilla chips, fresh jalapenos. World is your oyster, my friends. Add whatever toppings you like. Cheese is always encouraged. All right, lid on. She's just gonna sit here and work hard all day. And that is how you make chicken tortilla soup from scratch. About my recipes, I was born and raised in the kitchen, making absolutely everything from scratch, from jellies to marinara, you name it, we made it. And just the fact that I get to share that with people on a daily basis just makes me so happy.